So after what feels like forever of waiting and waiting, then waiting some more, at long last now we know when exactly it is that we will know the schedule of the 2023 ICC Cricket World Cup. Breaking news update for all of you that are and will be joining us. We finally know when it is that the ICC Cricket World Cup schedule for 2023, which we've been waiting for what seems like a long time, will be announced. So that what is the update?
So, the official invite from the ICC has come. The Men's Cricket World Cup 2023 will be announced on June 27th at 11:30 a.m.
That is Tuesday, the coming Tuesday, 11:30 a.m. in an event in Mumbai
Yes.
is when you will know at long last what exactly the Men's Cricket World Cup schedule will be. And as I said, it's a pretty big thing for the very simple reason that we've been waiting for what seems like an eternity to get some sort of an idea. And there have obviously been a lot of problems, let's be fair. There's been requests for changing venues. There's been the Asia Cup problems that came up, which actually pretty much stopped the planning for this. And you have to remember that this is a collaborative process. It's, of course, down to the hosting board, the board that will be hosting this, but it's also down to the ICC to give final stamp. So really, it's a two-way process.
It's a two-way process, and see what might have contributed to this delay. Remember, past World Cups, you have seen that the schedule and the venues were all announced 6 months or even 1 year
In
before
advance,
the tournament,
correct.
in advance. But now, what might have been the possible situation that led to this delay? 1, Pakistan. 2, Pakistan. 3, Pakistan. Because what has happened, the standoff that they had for the Asia Cup, because it forced Pakistan to adopt a hybrid model. PCB, the then PCB chairman
The
at that
interim
time,
PCB
yeah,
chairman.
Najam Sethi at that time said that if India does not come to Pakistan for the Asia Cup, we will not go to India for the World Cup because it's a force majeure situation.
And he had said very clearly that if it really comes down to it, if we're doing a hybrid model for the Asia Cup, then you can adapt a hybrid model for the World Cup as well, where we will play our matches in a neutral venue. So this standoff actually did end up costing a lot in terms of time of getting the schedule out on time.
And the second problem, again Pakistan, they wanted changes in venues for their specific games against Afghanistan and against Australia. Why is that? Normally it has never happened, but this is a very unique proposition that Pakistan put forward. Since the conditions in Chennai favor the Afghanistan spinners, because of that we want a change in venue. So play Pakistan versus Afghanistan in Bangalore and play Pakistan versus Australia in Chepauk. It's a very, very unique kind of a proposition, but that has been rejected by the ICC.
And the reason it got rejected, you have to remember, is that a change in venue, yes, it can happen, but there's only two reasons officially in the rules and regulations that allow for a change of venue. One, if you find the venue is not up to international cricket standards. A. B. Security concerns. You would remember in 2016, the India-Pakistan match was originally meant to be held in Dharamshala. That was changed and it was held in Kolkata instead because there were worries about security concerns. So these are the only two circumstances which allow a change in venue. A. It has to be that the ground is not up to international standards. B. Is a security threat. In this case, there was neither, which is why the request was rejected outright. In fact, you're talking about that problem. Also, remember there were issues wherein Pakistan said we don't want to be playing matches in Ahmedabad either. That too was rejected outright.
Exactly. So, if you're looking at the schedule announcement on June 27th, that means you just have over 100 days. That's it. To finalize the scheduling, to finalize the ticketing, the logistics and all of that. Let us just say it is going to be a simple nightmare.
Yeah, and I really, for who it is, I feel for most fans. Fans who are going to be traveling from, overseas, for them, ideally, this is something you need to be planning well in advance. Remember, you will, if you're a fan, average fan looking to travel for these events, you're going to have to apply for leaves from work. You're going to have to book your flight tickets for various locations, hotels. The travel logistics is not easy for events like this, and truth be told, not having the schedule hurt them the most.
And remember, it happened. You just got a glimpse of this chaos, what was going to happen, because in the India-Australia Test Series, Dharamshala was slated to host the third test. And they had all booked the tickets, the fans and all, the logistics were made, air
Tickets
travel
were
was all
done,
made.
hotels were done, everything was done.
But in the nth hour, in the final hour, 11th hour, what happened? They changed the venue to Indore.
Exactly.
And because of that, lot of fans had to face a lot of logistical hassles. That, by the way, did not get highlighted enough. Now, with just over 100 days to go for the World Cup, announcing the schedule on 27th of June, primarily because Pakistan decided to put a spanner in the works. And also, let us be very clear about it, the relaying of the outfields, the upgradation of the stadiums has all begun in India.
Yeah, you remember that during the IPL time, a lot of us were talking about the fact that, a venue like, say, Lucknow's Ekana Stadium, the former Ekana Stadium, we'd said that that venue was just not up to international standards. So it's not just the ground that is being relayed. Remember, that is being getting pretty much a brand new pitch.
Yes.
So it's not just the ground, it's the pitch. And it's a risky proposition doing it 6 months in advance, because pitch science is a complicated science for sure in that regard. It's not just about getting it to be spin friendly or bounce friendly or pace friendly. This is, you're relaying the entire thing. Is it going to be ready in time? Do you note for a fact that the pitch which gets relayed and put there is going to be any better or any different than the one that's already there? There's a lot of work that has been happening, and truth be told, now finally we've reached a point where, okay, you can say these are when these matches are going to be.
And the worst part is, most of the work, 50% of it is done, but the remaining 50% is going to happen in the monsoon period. And that means you are facing a race against time for even October. Now remember, October, November, normally you would have your World Cups in India around March, April. But this time in October, November, the dynamics are totally going to change. So India may be the host, advantage is there, but remember, they are playing in a different time altogether.
And you've seen what happens when you play at a time when, I wouldn't say it's unseasonal, but where generally speaking you don't have a lot of cricket going on in that point. Remember Australia 2022,
Yes.
the T20 World Cup, you saw differing conditions everywhere you went.
Yep.
So what was happening more often than not was that, some matches you were getting traditional Australian kind of pitches for white ball cricket, where the bounce was true, was good to bad, but if the bowlers bent their back, they got a bit of, bounce. Some of them, remember, were swing friendly.
Very.
And some, if I'm not wrong, I remember Adelaide in particular was actually helpful to the spinners. So you didn't really know what conditions you were getting. And in that regard, it's going to be very similar this time around as well, because it's going to be the onset of winters.
Yes, absolutely. So Yug Parmar is joining us. Hi Yug, when the schedule will be announced? Yug, if you have joined us now, you can rewind back to the video.
But we'll tell you anyway.
It is on June 27th.
Yeah, not October. October is when the World Cup is happening.
But if we have to look at it, there may not be that much of a change from the initial draft schedule which we all had access.
Yeah.
Because remember, the draft schedule was leaked, and that's how we came to know what are India's matches. So this is how the draft schedule is. So October 8th. India will open their World Cup campaign on October 8th against Australia in Chepauk. Then you will go to New Delhi. October 11th, you will be playing Afghanistan at the Arun Jaitley Stadium. Then the big one on October 15th. India versus Pakistan at the Narendra Modi Stadium. Whatever other reports, the Pakistan Cricket Board have apparently agreed to play at the Narendra Modi Stadium. So, October 15th is the next major match. Then at the MCS Stadium in Pune on October 19th, they're going to play India versus Bangladesh. Then the next big bogey, October 22, India versus New Zealand in Dharamshala. Then India versus England, the next major match. The current reigning champions will be playing at the Ekana Stadium in Lucknow. Then qualifier 1, that will happen at Wankhede Stadium. Remember, the World Cup qualifiers are currently going on. West Indies, Zimbabwe and Sri Lanka are slated to be the favorites, but only 2 can make it. And remember, whoever reaches the qualifier finals, those 2 teams are your 9th and 10th. So that is why that is the situation, qualifier. But then for Kolkata fans, there was one question by Harry Tector. How many matches will Eden host? Well, India are hosting South Africa at the Eden Gardens on November 5.
Big match.
And India versus qualifier 2, they round off their entire league stages with the qualifier match at the Chinnaswamy Stadium in Bengaluru. We don't know what is the venues for the semi-finals yet, but the final will definitely be held in Ahmedabad. That is the situation we are getting at this point. No announcement of the semi-finals, But this is the draft schedule. Mostly it will stay true to that only.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see major changes for the most part.
Yep.
The ICC will ratify it, and this will be most likely, at least in for 90% at the very least. This is what you're going to be seeing. In fact, if I'm not wrong, the opening match of the World Cup, I'm not just talking for India, the World Cup is set to be a rematch of the final
2019
Yes.
final. England versus New Zealand on October 5 at the Narendra Modi Stadium. That is not just a repeat of 2019. It is a repeat of 1996 also. The opening match that was hosted in the 96 World Cup, England versus New Zealand in Motera. New Zealand won that game by 11 runs. And that's why it's going to be a cracking contest between the two sides that played the final. And remember one more thing, India-Australia, it's a repeat of 1987 when India played their opening game against Australia at the same venue in Chepauk. Australia won by 1 run. And historic World Cup this is for India because it's the first time in history that India is hosting this World Cup unanimously.
Exactly.
Alone.
Every single time, otherwise, where India have been hosts, we've been co-hosts.
Yes, India-Pakistan in 1987. 1996 it was India, Sri Lanka and Pakistan. 2011 was Bangladesh, Sri Lanka and India.
Correct.
So
that's the breaking news update for you guys. We know at long last when it is that the schedule will be announced. And if you guys want to know all the latest updates for that, you know where it is to find us over at Sports Today. And stay tuned to the channel, of course, throughout the day. There's plenty more coming your way. For now, though, we'll take your leave. But please don't forget, like, share, subscribe, follow us across social media. Tap the bell icon. Very important. You'll know every time we're going live or uploading a new video. But for now, Sid and me.
bye-bye.